I met a gypsy.
Last rider, Justin Brayton. Calmest, nicest, most like mellow, soft-spoken, calm individual that you could ever meet. Older guy, family man.
Yeah.
Haiden Deegan, million Instagram followers, YouTube channel, famous parents.
Yeah.
Whole world loves him or hates him. Loves talking shit. Two completely different guys.
Yeah.
What was your expectations when you went into it?
Well, I was definitely bummed when JB retired because it was like I had the life, the schedule, everything. And I was like, well, we're going back into full-time racing. And I joined Star with Christian Craig in 22. And that
Did you win the championship with him?
Yep. 22 West Coast champion, and then went to 450 outdoors, got 5th in 450s. And then
rode amazing that year.
Crushed it that year. And then went to Husky. And so that was an easy transition because they're both family men, both older. And then when Christian was leaving, I was under the impression he had a 3-year deal and I was going to stay with him on 450s at Star. And I was like, damn, like, what am I going to do now? Like, I have to work with a kid. This is going to be weird. But I didn't know who I was going to go with. And Brian asked me to work with Haiden. And at first I was like, man, I don't know. Like, he's 16 at the time. Like, I don't know if that's really my style. Like, he's going to be good. When's he going to be good? Like, Brian, like, it was maybe a week or two of chatting and like, all right, cool, let's do it. So
what got you over the line?
The Deegan family.
Yeah.
Like, knowing them personally, like Brian and Hayden, Brian specifically, like that's what sold me. Like, he's such a good, like, he genuinely cares about you. Like, he cares so much about his son, and he's told me that my son will always come first. And if I'm a part of that program, I know he's looking out for me, and he has, and he does. So just feeling that, like, acceptance and security with him, and like the conversations you've had on here with him and off camera, like, you know that side of him that I do. So I wish the whole world could see that. Like, if they just watch the damn videos, they would, because that side of him is shown in every video. He doesn't hide it.
Yeah.
But people are just, not everyone. Some of those ignorant people out there are just too ignorant to go see it.
Some people just have their mind made up about the thing.
Yeah.
And they don't actually want their mind to be changed. Like, I think that's maybe one of the problems, is you, like, lose perspective on, like, the fucking the Loretta's thing.
Jesus, yeah.
The cheetah bike thing, right? So it's like, they just don't want their mind changed.
Yeah.
You can't give them any facts.
Yeah.
You can't tell them anything about the situation. Brian Deegan beat the shit out of that kid in front of Tim Cotter while Tim Cotter jerked off. Like, that's what they believe, and they're never, ever, ever going to say anything different.
Yeah, I wasn't working with Hayden during that.
You can't compete with that.
But, like, dude, people, they are just so blind to the facts, to the truth.
Yeah, but they don't want them, so, like, just don't even worry about it.
No, and then you have other media companies pushing their own narratives and trying. There's too many people out there that try to benefit from the bad, and that's annoying. But it was a pretty strange transition going from Brayton to Haiden, because JB, like, did have a fan base, but it was never like as big as Hayden's, and people knew who I was, but, like, a couple people knew who I was. I'm like almost 100K on Instagram now, and I can't walk through the pits without people stopping me. And when that's been, I would say, one of the harder transitions, is trying to keep my job and my duties, like, still aligned, while now I've got a fan base, which I don't have to please my fan base, but I like having that support, like that group of people that like me. So I try to please everyone, but, like, Saturday race day, I've got a job to do, and people are like, can you come sign this real quick? And I got a clutch in my hand, or I've got parts in my hands. Like, guys, I got a job to do. Like, if I go sign your shirt right now, Hayden's gonna have a different mechanic for the next moto. Like, I have to do my job first. Like, I appreciate the love, but, like, he his fame made me like get a little bit of a following, and that's cool. But yeah, that's a weird transition. Like, I guess even going back to the negative Instagram comments and comments in general.
Yeah, you just never had to deal with that ever.
Never had to deal with it. And like you were just a humble upbringing. Well, Haiden, like, he's brought up in it, right? So it's normal for him to just block it out. That's just his life. Whereas us, like, I've never had random people talking shit or giving support. And now I've got it, like, notification. This guy likes you. Notification. This guy thinks I'm a cocksucker. Like, damn it. Like, yeah. So, you never get random people, their opinions, and now you get it. But you do get a lot of, like, love and acknowledgement at the track. It's pretty cool. And
how about, I guess, Hayden's personality? Like, so Brian kind of sold you on it.
Yeah.
Because as a mechanic, like, you work with JB, you live this fantastic life of traveling, and he's such a good dude. Yeah. Like, he's probably on, like, the Mount Rushmore of nicest people that you've ever met in your life. Like, there's just not many dudes that are as just genuinely nice.
You don't know I don't know anyone that doesn't like him.
No. Could not tell you.
Yeah.
So you have that guy, and he won Daytona, won a bunch of Australian, like, high level elite rider. But then you get a chance to work with Haiden, who just might be one of the best riders to ever do it, but you don't know.
Yeah.
And you sign with him before his first season. So it's like, as a mechanic, those opportunities don't come around very often, you know?
Yeah, and I think he was one of the more sought after as far as, like, the mechanics we don't really get to choose our riders, but sometimes the team will say, hey, we've got someone coming in. Do you want to work with this guy? Like, when I came to Star, I had a option of 3 different guys, and I chose Christian, but that's because when they came to Florida, half the team stayed, right? So we needed mechanics to fill the position. So it was cool to have a rider pick me. Yeah, it's a cool feeling. But yeah, Haiden has some haters, and he has a lot of support, whereas Justin had no haters, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And then, so when you start working with him, what do you learn pretty quickly
with Haiden? That he is a kid.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Working with the adults, they know what they want in a bike. They know how they want, like, anything, like, they know what they favor in a motorcycle, and
they've got data to pull from.
Yeah. And even if they're switching brands, they still have a feel that they want. I mean, when I was with Haiden, he was maybe a year off a Super Mini, like,
literally.
Yeah, didn't know a big bike. And then, Christian and Justin, they know what they want. They know that there's every single option under the sun. Haiden, you give him a bike and he's cool. I'll make this work. Like, no. Like, do you feel like you're like this? Because I can put different bars. I can move this stuff. He's like, this is okay. Like, hey, do you think you're using the clutch? Do you want a little more power? Do you want to move the power here? He has no idea the options that he had. Like, when we started, didn't know, all the options available to him. And he just wanted to ride the motorcycle and just he could make it go fast too. And that's where Brian really came in, was like, kind of in our eyes, like, if he's going this fast, like, we don't really need to change anything. But Brian's also seeing, like, hey, he could be better. Like, he doesn't normally ride like this. If we can move his position around, whereas Haiden wouldn't speak up because,
well, he can't even see it.
Yeah, he's just riding the bike the way that it is. So, yeah, watching Haiden learn, like, what he can do with the motorcycle, like, as the parts become like, as we throw parts at him and he's realizing, whoa, changing this affects this. Good to know. Like, that's been a cool, like, little transition into his pro career, watching that. Like, he's going to learn a lot more as he gets older. He's only 18. So seeing, like, 23-year-old Haiden could probably, let's say a whole new model motorcycle comes out, he hops on it, he could come back right away and say, all right, shock's tall, let's change it with the linkage versus the subframe. Like, that's something Justin could do. Nothing Haiden can do. Like Haiden couldn't tell you that. He could just say like, man, I feel like it's really tall, I'm doing a front flip. Like, whereas other guys are just so switched on, they've been doing it for so long that they know what does what on the bike. So that's a big adjustment, is the feedback. But he's gotten really good at it the more we've tested with him.
And JB was pretty epic with bike setup, and then Christian was really good with bike setup, really, from what I hear.
Yeah, really.
Like Christian Craig could, from what I've been told about Christian, any rider in the world could get on his bike and love it.
Yeah. Christian had a year under his belt before I came to Star, so he had the bike dialed. Like, we maybe changed 2 clicks. I think at one time they updated a shock, and Christian tried it, and it's like, yeah, it's pretty similar to my other one. They said, yeah, it's about the same. We just changed the shimmer too. He's like, cool, I like it, run it. Didn't want to change anything. And like, him and JB were so good in the whoops that like, when I came to Star and I'm now watching all these 18-year-olds riding Supercross, I'm like, dude, why are the whoops so hard? Like, I've been watching JB forever, and then Christian, like, why are these guys making the whoops look so hard? Like, oh shit, they are hard.
No, this is normal.
Yeah, like, oh, never mind. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, and there was actually, I won't say too much, but I know there was a point, I think it was last outdoor season maybe, or was it this outdoor season? Something happened quite big. There was like a new bit of new input that came on suspension wise.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh fuck. So that pretty clear example that Haiden really didn't know what he wanted.
Right, but if you get someone to watch Haiden, watch his riding style, and kind of hear some feedback, and then you put said person on the motorcycle and say, set it up like you think he would like it. Like, they can do that, and it's pretty beneficial to have a top level person like kind of develop a setting for you. And
I guess it just goes to show like how much room he's got to go.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, it was a pretty dramatic,
it
had like a dramatic impact on riding and, you know, results wise. So it's like, damn, imagine when he could just do that to his own shit.
Yeah. Big change. It'd be cool to see. Yeah. The more he develops as a rider, being able to make those changes himself. But also, I think having someone work with you for bike setup development, that's another big factor. And like, not even just your training and your riding coach.
Yeah.
Having someone coaching you to set up your bike and working with you, not only just your suspension guys and your team, but like having an outside person to say like, here, when I tested, here's how I like to test, and here's how I can help tell the difference. Bringing in those people to help coach you, that's just
that process.
It's another set of skills you got to learn.
Yeah.
And if you have someone, one of the best to help you with it, that's the way to do it.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.